83% of viewers preferred watching a stream with a face cam, according to a survey held by streamscheme.com. You don't need to spend thousands or even hundreds to sound or look great. So let's go through exactly what you need, the 3 main pillars, and I might even give you a few bonus tips at the end of this video. Let's kick off with the essentials. The camera. You don't need to have the latest and greatest DSLR. You can absolutely work yourself up to it. I started off with the Logitech Brio myself, and I will be showing you how to set this up as well in the OBS software. In fact, it had taken a couple of years before I even decided to go up to a DSLR, and that really is just your own motivations and your own aspirations with how you want to stream. A lot of the USB cameras out there nowadays are more than plenty to be able to produce a similar quality, if not a better image and more engaging, because of all the software and all the abilities to do all kinds of crazy cool effects and whatnot. The next piece of equipment you want is the microphone. In fact, I would even say that this is probably the most important. A lot of streams that don't have a really good sounding microphone do tend to have viewers either click off or go on to another stream. Another piece of equipment that you don't need to spend hundreds or even thousands on. I eventually went to a beacon. If I actually had the choice, it would be something more like a shotgun mic, but that requires a little bit more investment. So this was a good median in between in order to get to that next stage. But even before this, if y'all watched some of my first streams, I started with just a headset. I still have that Astro A50. In fact, many popular streamers nowadays still just use a headset mic as well as their proprietary microphone. So it really just depends on how you want to be portrayed and how you view yourself in your streams. For the lighting as well, talking about how you view yourself, being able to see yourself on the camera for your viewers is super important as well. I'm using a Elgato key light. Sugar's actually using a ring light that we started off with, in fact. And then we learned that we don't always want the camera directly where the lighting is at. As you can see in this video, it's not attached. Her camera's not attached directly into the ring light. It is just like a separate light being used outside of where the camera would be now. Regardless, what I'm also learning is you want some cool little back image, so you can see some alternating lights in behind me that go between the green and the purple. You have a red light over there. Having different effects and different balances of light makes a stream or even any kind of content much more appealing. But the main part that you really want to focus on is your main light. If it wasn't for this nice bright image bouncing off the wall here, you probably wouldn't even see me. It'd be a little bit too dark. Maybe even want to have you go on to the next video. And everything's not going to always be perfect. I'm finding, and for what I'm hearing with other YouTubers, they're always adjusting their lighting, always. I'm looking at a man, let's see what he's doing. So great, you got all your equipment, you got your camera, you got your microphone, you got your lighting all set up. Now, of course, this is assuming that you have a very capable machine. OBS and Streamlabs, including a lot of other free softwares out there, can run on either PC or Mac. You don't need to buy any fancy subscriptions. You just need the software. A lot of it is free. So let's go through a setup here, showing you the basic YouTube one. So for those that already have OBS installed, you may be familiar with this view. When you freshly install OBS now, it does kind of take you through a startup phase or a walkthrough of how to go in and set up the stream. I like to be more advanced and set things up myself. Please feel free to go through that wizard. I'm just going to show you what if you already have the software installed or just want to get right into it. As you can see, I don't have anything on my screen here. And you're going to want to start by looking at what kind of scene you have. Let's say you want to just create a just chatting scene here. Boom. Go ahead and add your webcam. So I'm just going to name mine Brio because that's what I'm connecting here. This is going to be the first USB available here. So as you can see, hello, I have this set up. Absolutely adjust it as you need to. This Brio also has some Logitech software that you'll be able to set up any adjustments as you need to. Let's go ahead and select our device default. You can choose a customized resolution here. You won't need to, but for this Brio, I like to select it to 1920 by 1080. You can see what it did to the image there. At the default, it seemed kind of square, right? There is more resolutions if you go into custom for your USB mics if you need to, so just play around with the setting. I would recommend following what your software does recommend as well. Because I am only outputting at 1080p in my streams, I feel that the 4K and all that resolutions are just a little bit too overkill, especially when I'm shrinking down my image on the game scene. So that's all personal choice. It saves me a little bit more on my computer's resources just because I am on a single machine. So Just really depends. So we got that all set up here and hit OK. There's a just chatting scene. So the last part is that mic. This has already been set up. If you look in your settings, you'll be able to go into your audio and set your default microphone. Ignore this audience. This is a separate setting from my beacon mic. The main part you want to make sure is you get your mic and your desktop audio set up. My desktop audio is considered a microphone. Again, we'll go into another video for beacon specifically. So now we have a just chatting scene. If you want to add a new scene for your games, let's say you want to add Dead by Daylight. As you see, all I had to do was click on the little plus there, add a new scene. First thing I'm going to want to do here, make sure I got my camera back up. So because I already added it on the just chatting scene, you'll see it right there below. That's the Brio. Perfect. Hello again. So let's go ahead and make that a little smaller. If you hold down your Alt key on your keyboard and drag in the sides, you can make this a little bit more square so it doesn't take up as much room of your game scene as well. So we'll just maybe do something like that. And then we're going to add our game, of course. So now all we got to do here under sources in the Dead by Daylight scene, add a new game. We'll call this DBD because you can't have the same name between the sources and the scene. You'll just get an error like this. I don't think Streamlabs desktop has that problem, but I believe that's only an OBS feature or bug. So we'll just call it DBD. Change the mode to capture a specific window just because I don't want it to automatically switch away from that game. And I do this for every single game as well. I do make a new scene. And I'll even go through some other tips on OBS on how to make things a little bit more efficient, making templates that you can do for your just chatting or your game scenes. For now, we're just going to keep it basic and just create the 1 and 2 scenes just to get us going, right? You can tell that the order of the sources does matter in terms of visibility. But there you go. Now you got your game and you got your camera. If you ever want to add alerts, let's say you have your Twitch or your YouTube or whatnot, Streamlabs all set up, and you want to add those sources, all you have to do is add a browser source right here. So that's what it's going to be called, is actually just add and then browser. That's the browser source. So when you get that referenced from your alerts from wherever program that you're using, that's what you're going to want to use. And so we'll just call it alert box here. Because we already have Streamlabs set up, I'm just going to set up the Streamlabs alert box. So I have it right here. Click to copy the widget URL, copy that, and then you just paste that in there. Once you have your URL in there, hiding it right there. Another option that I like to do, you can control the audio via OBS. There's 2 ways to control alert audio as well. I like to do it through OBS directly. That way I just have it one spot. I don't have to go through and turn down the volume out of each sound alert. You may want to do that in case one clip of your sound alerts is just super obnoxious and loud, right? But otherwise, if you do this, you'll see another option come up here for alert box. So if I go to and test an alert here, let's test our YouTube subscriber, right? See it pop up right there? But you also notice that the alert box is going off, right? So we have that ability to control the audio. So we'll do it one more time. Make sure that it doesn't go more past this yellow part. So one last time. There you go. It's a little better. We'll turn it down just a little bit there. And that way when I'm talking or the game is going, that these alerts are not just the loudest thing. And it doesn't surprise people. You know what I mean? So you always want to be cautious about how your viewers' experiences is. But there you go. You now have a basic setup. I might want to adjust the alert box. You notice that I moved my game scene when I did not intend to. You have that problem, lock it down. That way you can't move the game scene anymore. It's only going to be allowing you to click on the items that you can move. So a big key there. I'll put my alert box maybe just there. You can also do transform and then center horizontally. That way it's nice and even in the middle. Okay, got OBS set up. Now the last step and the third is your platform. So I do have this a blank slate here. If we go to our settings and our stream options, we have no account connected right here. Perfectly fine. Let's set up our YouTube one, right? So you're going to want to make sure that under your stream, This is going to be your main point of connection. Which platforms are you going to? I personally restream, so I use the restream service. But let's go through the basic YouTube setup here. Very simple. Leave this at the server, at the primary YouTube ingest server. You do have some other options here. If you ever have problems with your stream, or you know that your connection is really good and whatnot, feel free to use those, try those out. I have not had a problem just keeping it there. So just go ahead and click on connect account. It will ask you to make sure you log in and select the correct account in case you have multiple accounts there. So we're just going to go ahead and continue here. And as you can see, that was a simple login, authenticate. You can close this page now, go back to our OBS, and there we go. We're connected. Click apply to make sure you save it, and you'll be able to see all of your YouTube chat come up in your dock. There is other programs that you have out there. For me, I use Restream, and they have a Restream chat that installs and has a nice overlay because I am using just one screen for my streams. It allows me to put the chat without any background over my games. Alternatives, you can use your phone, put it off to the side, but get a little stand if you have one. You can also move around the docks like this, so it can be detached. You can put it in a different side if you need to, especially if you have this and another screen. That's a very nice feature. Same thing with all your audio controls as well. So a lot of customizability. I do prefer OBS over other softwares just because of other technical issues and whatnot that I've seen and heard about. So have a lot of fun. Set up your OBS how you need to. You can close and open docks, but just remember the three main parts here. You got your camera, your game, and your alert box. And then there's OBS. The third part is I delved a little bit more about that social network and which platform you want to really stream to. And that's really personal preference. A lot of the restreaming that you see nowadays has been a big hit because of the recent Twitch update where they now allow you to do that. So I highly recommend doing that. I have a lot of success as well seeing myself multi-streaming. It's not easy though. There is a lot of setup to that, and another topic for another video that we'll go through on how I stream with my multi-stream. If you need any more tips on exactly how to set up the TikTok, there is a little guide here in the Streamlabs. So just be very specific on who you want to be and where you want to stream to. Where do you find your connections? And there's a lot of great platforms out there nowadays. The big main ones, yes, Twitch, YouTube, Kick. Those are definitely most of the go-tos. But if you find yourself finding a community in a different one of those smaller streams, I think there's Trovo, DLive. Just be more open and inviting to yourself to be able to go live on those platforms. They have a very similar setup. Just kind of have to look up to see what those instructions are and the guides are for those, and being able to just say to yourself, I can do what I'm watching. So I know I already talked about how there's a video that I'll be making about how to even just use your phone. I looked into that and it's a little bit more involved, but we'll be going through that. But for now, I just wanted to give you a little bit of rundown of what the three main parts are. So remember, just get your equipment, your camera, your microphone, and your lighting. 2, get your software all set up. Make sure you have your OBS scenes and sources just the way you want them to. And there's no right or wrong way. The creativity here is limitless. And 3, be very selective and choose your platforms. I would say to be cautious and just not overwhelm yourself with thinking that you have to do all the multi-streaming. Just start with the one. Start with the YouTube or the Twitch, whichever feels that is your most calling, and just get those repetitions in. I say that out of experience because I've noticed that once I picked up on doing one platform, I had more of a drive to go and do this multi-streaming and expand myself a little bit on all these other sites. So start, and you never know where the journey goes. So is there something maybe that you don't have right now that you feel like you need? What equipment do you have today that you think doesn't look good? I challenge you to put your comments down below. Let me know what you have, and I can go through that and give you my opinion, maybe even some tips, and it'll even maybe inspire another video from me. So, and if you've made it this far, please type comment, go live, hold me accountable to be going live for you, and let's all just inspire each other. Thanks for watching, y'all.